Hello, my name is Joanne Hewins. I have a blog at lovetocreate.typepad.com, and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Recently, I had a class, and this is one of the cards that we made. It was a card, oops, got a little dot there. It was a card using the Flight and Airy Designer Series paper from Sale-a-Bration this year, and the people seem to really like this card. And so as I was cleaning everything up, I thought, that layout is a pretty good one. It's simple. It's pretty easy to do. And I wonder if I can make any other cards with that very same layout. Well, I just kept working, and I came up with all 5 of these. And I think they're all pretty. So I'm going to make all 5 of these cards with you. Now, I haven't done 5 cards in a video before, so we'll see how it goes. And let me warn you, I laid all of this out about 3 days ago. Life got in the way. I wasn't going to be able to make a video without interference, and so I hope I just remember what all I did. So I'm going to bring in some things that I had sitting aside for this card, and we're using Misty Moonlight as our base, and it measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have another layer of Misty Moonlight. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I will put all of these measurements are going to be the same for every card, and I will put those on our underneath this video. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, let me tell you that I used with this the Distressed Tile embossing folder. I think that design is just gorgeous. It adds just a classic beauty to the card. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Now, I didn't make sure my glue was working. And let me just hold on a minute. Okay, you should always do that, I guess. So hopefully that's going to get some out. And I'll show you what I did, although I'm a little embarrassed. I have a paper clip that I've pulled out, and I just kind of stick that down if I ever have a problem. And usually I don't, but I just stick it right down in that hole and back out. And that seems to work for me. So I'm going to take this. I kind of like to hold opposite corners and work that around. I like to use the glue because it's easy to position everything around. And I cut this so close to the original size of the card. There's just a tiny bit that peeks out. Okay, so now we're ready for this next piece. And this is a piece of boho blue that is 2 by 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of Designer Series paper. There's the wrong side, but this paper is so beautiful. And this is 4 1/8. I'm sorry, 1 7/8, because this is 2. 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm going to glue that to that little piece there. And, I think you probably do need to look at this and decide which way it looks best. I kind of think if I turn this around, more of the flowers appear to be growing up. I just like the way that looks better. So I'm going to bring in dimensionals. So all of these will be on dimensionals. And I'm just going to go ahead and put 6 on each one. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to help me get those off. And I'll release those off camera. And we'll put those on here. And I'm going to kind of look at the designs here to help me get that where it's straight on my card. So now we are ready for this circle. And I got this circle using the Everyday Details dies. And I'm using this double circle right here. It kind of comes together. And you might wonder, why would it do that? Well, it cuts out the circle, and it also cuts out an image that has the circles around the inside. So I saved this to show you what that looked like, and you might want to center that more in a piece, and then you can use a square around that or other shape to use as more decoration. So this is going to go here. See, I've got a couple of little dots still in there, although it usually cuts really, really well. Especially, you need to make sure you get those dots out of the die before you cut it again. And then we're going to have our birds. So this is also part of the Flight and Airy. And on the outside, I'm going to have a bird that I'm just going to cut out. In fact, both of these will just be cut out with snips. And don't spend a lot of time on that, just kind of, and it works a little bit better for me if you move the paper around as you're cutting with the scissors. I'm leaving a little bit of white around the outside, but it's going on a white background, so that doesn't seem to bother me. It doesn't bother me anyway. I like to leave a little white when I cut out. And so there we have that. Now we also have a saying on this one, enjoy your day. And I got that saying, had the wrong stamp set out there, from Thoughtful Expressions. It's here, enjoy your day. And I'm going to get here's my stamp. I'm going to get my stamp, and I'm going to stamp that on this scrap right here. So let me ink that up. Now be careful when you're inking. I noticed when I put my stamp out, look, I've got an edge there that's pretty thick. They don't usually have it like that. And let me find a paper towel. I'm just going to wipe that off. Okay, sorry about that. So I've got a piece of paper towel. I'm just going to wipe that off. But one thing that you might want to remember is when you stamp, you want to go straight down, and you don't want to rock it. Now, I usually try to hold mine a second or two. Sometimes I count to 5. So there's that, and I'm going to use the stylish shapes to cut that out. So let me pull out this, and this is the one. I'm going to take a piece of tape. Where'd my tape go? There it is. And I'm just going to use this as a piece of, it's a roll of tape that is repositionable. It's a Scotch tape thing, but I don't have the container anymore that I got it from. And I'm just going to off camera cut this out real quick. Okay, so I'm going to lay this on my machine, cut that through. Okay, so I've got that cut, and this just peels right off pretty easily. Usually it does. And then I just kind of put it on the side of my machine. I use it, again, several times. All right, so let me set that out of the way. I'm going to close that, but we'll do the inside of this one in just a few minutes. And I'm going to add this saying right down here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here in the center. And I'm going to put a little piece of dimensional out here. I want it on the part where it says day, that end piece. So I'm going to put that on here. I'm sticking that out a little bit. And then when I add this to the card, I'm going to put glue on this side and dimensionals over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. See, I've got some little pieces that I've cut there. So let me get those off. This will go here. Oops, I probably need to move that over a bit. Sorry about that. And yeah, that will work much better. Let me get my words straight. And I forgot about the glue, so I'm just going to add a little glue under there. And we will add our bird with a little bit of glue. And I'm going to put his little feet just going over that side, just a little bit like he's sitting on the side. And that completes the front. On the inside, and this is the only one that I'm going to do the inside for, I'm just going to cut around this bird. Doesn't really matter so much if I get a little close, because again, it's going to be on a background of white. So I don't think it's going to show a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping first. Let me open this one. And it has, today is all about you, happy birthday. And that is from the first stamp that I had sitting there, Notes of Nature. And let me bring in that stamp. And before I glue anything on, I want to do my stamping, just in case, you know, something could go wrong. So let me tap, 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 tap. I'm looking to make sure I've got everything. You kind of see a sheen or a shine to it. No rocking, straight down, straight up. That looks good. So let me set that out of the way. Let me glue my bird down. And because it's facing that way, I'm going to put it over here. See, this one was facing the other way. All right, and then we'll just put our inside in and we'll be done with this card. Okay, so we're going to use that very same layout for the other 4 cards. So let me set all of this out of the way. And the next one that we're going to make is this one. Now I've used the same embossing folder with this one, and I'll show you why. I tried it with this embossing folder. This is so beautiful, layered florals. But when I ran it through, and this is the designer paper, it had some cracks that were not uniform. It had them here and there. Now look at this one. When I ran it through, it had some cracked looking spaces, but it was kind of more uniform, and that didn't bother me so much. So I'm going to use this. The base of this card is Pretty Peacock. And so this is the same, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is the same. It is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Now, probably, I don't know, I might not review those measurements for every card since they're going to be pretty much the same. So let me put this down. Now, I just noticed on this one as I was putting it down that there was a little bit of a crack in the paper there. But when I glue it down, I don't think it's going to make a difference. Okay, so here's our Pretty Peacock base. Okay, and here is the piece of paper that we're going to use to go with that. So I'm going to glue that down. I love these bright colors. I'm mostly a neutrals person, so I think people are happy when I get a little brighter. So we'll put our dimensionals on here. Oops. Okay. Oops, there's my ends from before. So we'll take those and these off to the side. Oops. Okay. And then, again, I'm going to kind of use these designs right here to help me when lining up my piece right here. All right, this time we're going to use that very same die. And did I show you the Everyday Details dies? All of them, because there's some beautiful rectangles, lines, designs here, and then the circles. So I think it's really, really neat. Now, I didn't go ahead and do this one, so let me do that real quick. And I'm still just going to do that off camera for you. And I had just kind of freehand cut this little piece, but I wanted you to see how it looks if I'd centered it better, made it a tad bigger, how that outside would look. But we'll be using this, and look, most of my dots came out, or all of them, but then I do have dots here that I would want to get off before I try to cut it again. So now I'm going to pull one of these paper butterflies, and this one, it'll be hard to see on here, but this one is from a pack of butterflies, and there are several sheets, and I think it's maybe 40 butterflies. I'm not exactly sure, but they come out easily. They're really pretty on cards. And I'm going to color those with my blending brushes. So let me bring that in. And then I'm going to bring in just a piece of scrap as I do this, so I don't have that on my sheet back there. Okay, and I'm going to be using Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape to do this. I'm going to start with Highland Heather. Now I have my brushes labeled. I'm just going to tap down on here and get the body. And then I'll come up in here and get a little bit of that. Now I'm starting from the side. Now those antennas look like they're having a beating there, but we'll play with them. And now I'm just going to move that to the side in case I decide I need some. And I'll open up my gorgeous grape. And actually I want the body to be a little bit darker. And I want to get around the outside edges. A little bit better. So it's better to come off from the edge. And I probably should be tapping some of that off, but we'll be all right. Now you can see the outside shape, isn't that pretty? You could also use these to decorate and just use the shape that they leave. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the gorgeous grape for the body. I want that body to be just a little bit darker. All right, I think we'll be good on that. All right, now for our saying on this, I'm going to move these out of the way. And this. And for my saying, I'm going to be using this stamp that is also from the Thoughtful Expressions. You're in my thoughts today. I'll bring in that scrap that I had. The gorgeous grape. Okay, and we'll just go tap, 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 tap. I'm going to look at the inside. I think it's okay. Straight down. Back up. It's always good when that works, isn't it? Especially if you're doing a video. And I'm just going to cut around these. Oops. And I'm going to cut around this saying. I like to fussy cut, so I kind of do that a lot. And it's going to look okay no matter how you do it. Okay, so we've got that. And we're going to decorate. We're going to put this on the dimensionals. I have to work hard to keep up with my dimensionals because I tend to just sit them somewhere and I can't find them. Okay, so we'll put this on here. Now I want this, I think, to sit at a diagonal, so I think I'm going to put it that way. And I want my butterfly to kind of sit on there, and you can kind of rearrange those antenna a little bit. On the other one, I cut some really thin sheets of dimensional and put them, but I think for this purpose, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here and there. You don't want to put a lot. And I'm just going to kind of put that body there, like it's sitting on the saying. And then we'll put our glue on this side and dimensionals over here. Okay. I hope I did that right. And I don't want to cover up this flower right here, so I'm going to put it, well, I can't put it up too far, but I'm going to put it up a little bit so that it kind of covers that up. I think kind of flip that up a little. Okay, and then I'm going to finish with some of these purple gems. Looking for my Take Your Pick tool that I just had. There it is. And we'll put a gem. Let's see. I think I'm going to put it maybe up in there. And then we'll put two. Well, down in here somewhere. Well, it's sticking to my finger. Okay. So there we are. And we've got our second card done. And I'm not going to do the inside to the others. So let me move this one out of the way. And I'll try to keep it with the first one I made. All right. So now I'm going to work on this card. And this is using the, hold on a minute. I can't remember the name. The Softly Stippled paper. That's one of the Sale-a-Bration's choices, and we're using this side, or this sheet, we're doing both sides. So for the background, and then for this part. So I'm not going to go through and show you all of that, just in the interest of trying to get all this done. So I'm going to use the Softly Sophisticated embossing folder, I'm sorry, my tongue gets tied, folder that goes along with the Softly Sophisticated stamp set. This is a Sale-a-Bration choice, and it is free in the US, a $100 purchase. You get both the embossing folder and the stamp set. Some great sayings on there. Okay, now on this one, I used the debossed side of the embossing folder, and that is because, can you see it? There you can a little bit. That's because I messed up. So I'm going to try this one. I think it looks great there, and they're both certainly okay to be used. So I'm going to put this so that the label, the Stampin' Up label, comes up or is showing. And let me real quickly go through with that. Okay. And this time it does have the embossed side up. So let me go ahead and kind of on this side, kind of gives a quilted look to it. And let me add that. Kind of makes it roll just a little as well with the designer paper. So I'm going to turn it over, I think, and push it down. Okay, and now we're ready. This is an extra. Now we're ready to glue this onto our centerpiece. Now this does have a direction. You can see there's a kind of a stem there going up. And now we're ready to get our dimensionals on here. Maybe I should have put all those on before we started. I don't think we're taking maybe too long though. Okay, so we'll put this here. I'm going to move this one over a little bit more than the others that I've done. Now I've decorated this one a little bit different, but we're still using the white circle. And it looks like I didn't cut that out. So I'm going to cut it from right here, and I'm going to try cutting it without getting my circles out, which could be a mistake. Let's see how that works. All right, so it got it out just fine. There are a few circles that didn't come out. I'm going to push those out with my Take Your Pick tool just here to the side so it's not on our stuff. So we have that ready. And then I have stamped the leaves that are in. Let's see what that is in. That is in the Stippled Roses stamp set. That is in our mini catalog. Had to step aside and get a piece of paper. So I'm going to ink this up with Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to ink it this way. When I have a big stamp, that's usually what I try to do. So we close that back up, and I'm just going to do it straight down and straight up. And I am going to use my Wink of Stella to color that in. So I'm just going to, that might be a little hard for me to see, to color. And you probably can't see that pretty sheen that's coming out on that. And it's moving that ink just a little bit to spread that color just a little. What do you think about that? Oops, a big glob kind of came out. Let me share it with some of these other leaves. And that is more sparkly than the ones up above there. Okay, can you see that shimmer to that? There you go, a little bit. There. So we're going to cut that out with the dies that go with that. And I'm trying to find them. Okay, I have all these dies laying out here, and I was sure I had that set. Hold on just a minute. Well, I seem to have lost those dies. That happens when you're on camera. And I have several different ones here, but they are not the ones that I need. And I'm going to just cut them out. Let me tell you that the... Oh, wait a minute. Here they are. It's in the Stippled Roses. I was looking at the wrong one. So I'm going to put this on my on my leaves. I'm sorry about that. And I'm going to put on my repositionable tape. And we'll run that through. Okay, so we'll pull that out, and there are our leaves. They're going to go kind of like this, so it's going to stick out. So I'm going to put some glue right in this area. And I'm going to kind of do them to a side. Okay, and I'm going to cut you know what? This is not that easy to do. Here's a different pair of scissors. I'm just going to cut that right there. And I'm going to bring in some of this Lost Lagoon bordered ribbon. And I'm just going to tie a knot there. Okay. We'll use a glue dot to put that down. Right in there. And then we'll just clip that a little bit. I thought those would be sharper. Okay. And then we want to do our saying. Before we do our saying, I'm going to pull in these opaque faceted gems. And we're going to use those for this card, but this is Pool Party. And I'm going to take my Lost Lagoon dark and just color over those. And get them just a little bit darker. See how easy that is? It just makes the slightest of difference. But we're going to let that dry just a little bit. And the Sending Thanks is from the Stippled Roses stamp set. And I'm going to emboss that. So we're going to use, our white embossing folder for that. And looking for my Versamark. Here it is. And here's my scrap paper we're going to do that with. So I'm going to get my embossing buddy, go over that. We'll ink with Versamark. And even though that's a small stamp, I'm going to use my stamp upside down and just tap with my Versamark. I can see that it's shiny. So we'll stamp there. Straight down. Straight up. And then I'll bring in my white embossing powder. And we'll hope that that will work. Okay, I think that's going to look great. I'm going to bring in my heat tool. And sorry about the noise, it won't take that long. There it goes. And for that, I'm going to use this double oval punch. Now, I probably should have stamped that at the, well, I don't know that it would have made a difference. But I don't want to waste all that paper. So I'm just going to cut across here. And we'll do our best to cut that out. Okay. Trying to get my sending straight. Okay. So this is going to go, let's see if it can go under there still. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue under there. We want our sending thanks to be straight. So we're going to put our dimensionals on this side. I'm going to put one out here. And then here and here. Put a little bit of glue on this side, because remember, we've already put this on a dimensional. And there we are. And then the only thing left is to get our gems. So I'm just going to push that out of the way and put one up here and one here and one here, I think. So there is our third card. Okay, so I'll set one aside. And now we're going to work on this one. And that card looks like this. So this one I did use that floral layered embossing folder. It looks like this. Isn't that beautiful? Can you see that? All right, and we're just going to glue this to our base. And this is all in Poppy Parade. Okay, and I'm going to be using Hello There with this one, and that is from the Softly Stippled stamp set. And I'm going to be stamping that in Poppy Parade on my white. Sorry about reaching. Now this stamp set doesn't look very good, and I apologize for that. I'm going to order a new one. This one's very old. And what I think happened is that I got some of the new ink on an old pad. And maybe, well, that doesn't look good at all. Let's see if that one does any better, and if not, we'll just go with it. Not much. Okay, and with this one, I'm going to be using the Wild Ferns dies, and I'm going to be using this tiny rectangle right here from there. Hold on just a moment while I cut that out. Okay, I'm going to leave that there because I'm also going to use that on the next card. So this is from the Sunny Day papers that are part of Sale-a-Bration Choices. And I think they're really, really pretty. At first I looked at that and I thought, nah. But you see I have it, and I think it made a really pretty card. So we'll add this. This is Petal Pink that I'm using as my base for this. And it will match the circle that I've cut out for it. Okay. Don't know about doing this many cards at one time again, especially when it's not really fresh on my mind. Of course, this is directional. You're going to want to make sure that your flowers go up. And so for this one, I'm just going to cut out some of these flowers to decorate. So, I just pulled a little area. It's not the same ones that I used for the sample. And some of the blue is probably going to show from around this, but that's okay. And you can see this one, you know, sometimes I cut a little better than others. Do you? Well, this one I don't think is my best cutting. Okay, so there's one. And, gosh, I think I'll cut this pink one out. You think it'll show up? Maybe not so much. We'll have to see if we can position it. Okay, so we've got that and that. Let's cut out this white one. Okay, and we'll just go with these. So I'm going to add dimensionals to the back of those flowers. And I'm just going to do one per flower. And while I'm doing it, I'm going to add, well, let me wait a minute to add those. So this one, I'm going to do, I want that kind of at a diagonal. So that one I'm going to do there. The white one, I'll kind of do there. And this pink one, petal pink one, we'll put down a little bit, like that. And then when we add this, I don't think it's going to matter too much where we put our dimensionals. I'm just going to put them at each end. And we'll do it like that. So this will have, this side will have the glue, and this side will have dimensionals. Okay, and I'm going to put that about like that. And I did not add any extra embellishments to that one. We'll leave it at that. And that is going to give us one more. Is it getting to be too much? I don't know. But we'll try this one out and see what happens. So this is using the Most Adored Designer's Airy paper, also from Sale-a-Bration. So I'm just going to quickly try to add this. Let me go ahead and just add this. I did not use an embossing folder. This is pretty busy. Let's see if it makes a difference. And we will add that. We'll glue these. Isn't that pretty with the hearts? So this paper has one side with the gold accents, the gold paper. And then the other is in Flirty Flamingo and Real Red. So we're going to add our dimensionals. That one doesn't want to come. There it goes. And we'll put this, I want to make my hearts going the right way. And then we're using the other side. This is the plaid part of that. And I have cut out some petals from the, trying to see where I cut that out, from the Notes of Nature. I used this one and this one. And I cut that out of this paper just to give it a little bit of a variation. Now we're going to stamp in Real Red, and I'm going to use a scrap. Let me pull some of this. I'm going to use, we're still going to use the Hello There. Now that looks much better. This was in Real Red. And I'm going to use the same die to cut that out. Just be patient a moment longer. I think it really would have made this a lot longer had you had to see me cut all that instead of doing it off camera. Okay, so I am going to take my glue and just put some tiny dots, not on every leaf, but here and there, and I'll put that down. And then, looks like I've got a little something on that one. Then we'll do the same with this. I don't want to have a lot of color of glue mashing out, but I might. And then we're going to put dimensionals on this. Okay. And we'll put our saying across there on dimensionals. And then this is going to have the glue on this side. You can see the flip side of that paper. My dimensionals over here. Guess it works better if you take that little layer off of it. This is going to go right in there. I want to make sure my words are straight. And then on this one, we're going to use the brushed butterflies to decorate our card. So let me pull those out, and we will see where we want to put that. I might put that one up a little higher. These are self-adhesive, and they're in the annual catalog. I think I'll put that one there. And this one, I think we'll try over here. So there, that one is. That one was a little bit faster, I think. So let me pull away some of the things that I have used. And all that will be listed. I'm going to have a blog post that goes along with this, with measurements and pictures of each of the cards. So let me bring them all back in. So we made... This is with the Most Adored paper. This is from Sunny Days. This is from Softly Stippled. This is from the, I don't think I even mentioned it, the, Perennial Lavender paper. And then this one is the Light and Airy paper. 5 cards, 5 identical layouts, but I think 5 beautiful different cards. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name is Joanne Hewins. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Happy to help you with any orders that you might have. And if you'll just contact me, you can do that from my blog. Thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.